talking about the cinema feedback that values the survey. You know, but it's like the coziness of a bookstore, the coziness of like a you know, or like a gift shop. Right, coziness. You know, the comparison between a bookstore and a pharmacy. Well, yeah, it's funny, right? It's like the quietness of it, the coziness of it. It really gets my food. I'm looking at the kind of pharmacy places.
So, JD,
Bookstore is very, God, it seems like a perfect segue to something we should talk about just for 2 seconds. Bloomberg Media is now doing a new show called Clueless.
yes.
Heard about this? Yeah. And it's out. This is not a podcast starring Alicia Silverstone, right? No, it's just it stars the host Elliot Bloom, the former head writer of the Daily Show, Jon Stewart, who's with the 2000s, a bunch of great stuff. He's so funny. He's a permanent. You get to less part of it than to full part of it. That's exactly right. It's like what kind of 12-minute episodes of just puzzle podcast. I mean, it's super fun. You can a little sprint. Yeah, you can like try and talk while you're driving or listening to the show, and it's only 10 minutes. It's super fun. Well, how long do you take trying Wordle each day, Greg? What does it take for you to get through Wordle? Pretty quick, because you usually talk real fast, right?
Well, I would stack my world. It's not fair to get through any day.
No, you definitely funny.
Anyway, so Clueless is coming out. It's great. You should listen to it.
It takes no longer than the average person would take 5 years. It's right. Super bright, like we're on that. It's a super fun show. It's a super fun game, and it premieres Monday, November 18th. Every episode, and I play with family and friends. And you guys were kind enough to do the first episode. And I like it a lot. It's also fun. It's fun. And that's all I've got. Check it out, bros.
And gals. Hey, listen. Speaking of checking out, you know what I like to check out?
It's still about that.
Well, and I don't think that I'm alone because I read somewhere that I think that our guest films have grossed north of $4 billion worldwide. That's a very strong number. And what's even stronger about
This person had a nice definition.
well, I wonder if they did. What's even stronger about it is the fact that they're so varied in the statement of some of the most some of the most comedies, some of which you might consider to be romantic comedies, some you might consider to be just straight up dramas, some would be period pieces, everything. And for in addition to the financial reward, our guest has also been rewarded with loads of nominations for SAG, Golden Globes, and BAFTAs, and Emmys. I mean, this person, he's a party. He has been such a part of the film landscape for so long. I know that I imagine you've been terrified by intro, but you shouldn't be because he has done everything. He's taught us about love. Actually, he's taught us about what it's about our boys. He's done it all, and now he has a new horror film called Heretic. Guys, it's Hugh Grant. Do you not know?
The one and only Hugh Grant. Do I take it over?
Yes, you take it out.
Oh, hell It's a silver fox. Guys, got a silver fox on today.
It is the one and only Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant, welcome to Smart List.
It's very nice of you to have. Good morning.
Yeah, this is really cool. I only met you once on the street of New York City, and I said, Hugh Grant. You said, hello. That's it.
It was in a dismissive,
No, you were very nice.
cold kind of way.
No.
I'm not a very nice man. We're all the same.
That's entirely untrue, I'm sure.
So, did Sean yell too loud and everyone then stopped and wanted to take a picture?
No, you were.
I was probably a bit hungover. There you go.
No.
Did I have a child with me? I've got millions.
And that always makes me unpleasant.
Get in line. So do I.
How many kids do you have?
Well, we think it's 5.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But I had a much too older life. You know, I started when I was 52. And now
Your first kid, you were 52. Wow.
yeah, no, I'm 64, you know, and the youngest is 6. And I need a long stint in a sanatorium or an abbey. I often look at the abbey that Maria lives in, and which I lived there.
What about one of those old, like really old monasteries that they built at tops of mountains that are accessible by them, and they're very detailed?
Frightful nuns. I don't mind nuns.
Are you in Los Angeles right now?
I've just arrived. So I'm just banging the drums myself. So from London. Yeah?
How
Yeah.
is that flying this way? Is it harder coming this way than it is going the other?
It's brutal both ways. I can't do it anymore. I think that's another way. I woke up hours ago, very, very hungry. Felt like my heart was made of Play-Doh. You know Play-Doh?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's to eat it.
Sean's got a doctor for you.
I've got some upstairs too. You should know this. That Sean, 3 nights ago, woke up in the middle of the night with a heart issue, drove himself to Cedars-Sinai, didn't wake up his husband, drove himself to Cedars-Sinai. They brought the paddles out. They put them under it. They paddled them. Drove home. An hour later, he woke up to use the bathroom again. And drove himself back to Cedars and got paddled again.
Yeah, and then
So-
dinner.
So you're jet lagged by comparison. And I'm not saying this to make you feel bad.
But no, you are. And
That's working. But by God, you legal?
great. No,
You on how it is, you managed to keep it going all.
you know what I forgot to bring? On the back, underwear. So I'm supposed to be commandos. Excited.
I had a stint with that. I went a couple of years with that.
Let's go down that.
Been going down this.
Well, the details on it are a little sordid. Like,
I used to wear boxers in college. They just didn't. I thought that was so cool. And everything. It's dumb.
Well, that's a miserable experience.
They don't provide any like word at all.
I like to be tough.
Yeah, exactly.
you like to be tough. That's good. Yeah, I like to be tough. How do you go now? You not wearing the garment?
No. I'm into the boxer briefs now.
Okay.
Semi tough. Yeah.
I think that's
So you can listen and feel free to say that. We can send somebody over with a variety if you'd like.
No, I've already asked the concierge in the hotel for myself. No, he looks surprised. I'll go shopping.
Hugh Grant, honestly,
Let's head home at the loading bay metro.
I'm sorry to say, you're
Let's
you're
take that
one of
metro
those
entrance.
film stars that I feel like, because I've seen you in so many films, I feel like, oh yeah, well, it's Hugh Grant in my mouth from earlier. And it's that sort of familiarity that we have to roles. And you have done something different, and now, I think I'm safe to say, you're doing something really particular. Now you're doing this horror film, if you will, for lack of a better word, right?
We can call it horror, or we can call it psychological thriller. Perhaps the people who are fond of horror films like me.
So we can also call it the last remaining viable genres for theatrical distribution.
Yeah, that's good. Well, why is that? Explain that.
I bet you it's because people like to have the scare be a shared experience, because the scare at home might be a little too scary and then you're just going to but comedy would be the same. You would, right? You want the scary experience with a laugh, but comedy would be different from that.
I know, and I sort of brought that up actually to our friend Jason Blum, who makes a lot of horror films. Blumhouse. And I said that, JD. I said, well, why don't we make a comedy? He said, no, we can make this.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I understand wanting to be home alone if you're going to be crying, you don't want to cry next to a stranger, but I do like laughing with strangers. I like being scared of strangers. Yeah. And your comments?
It's very bad. No one's better than me. My legs are thinking it just goes down. I could get 30 years of freedom.
I couldn't disagree with you. I know the answer in life. Or you can't just keep going around it. Excuse me, Q, I want to get into this. I'm so glad you're saying this because you're talking to people who would, and by the way, a lot of Angelinos who are sort of in the same our age and people are equally agoraphobic. So you're not agoraphobic. You have zero ambition and a really comfortability about what life. You're not interested in anything other than yourself. It's a kind of thing. Talk to me a little bit about getting out of that. What is it you like to do so much?
I've always regarded home as a thing on. Your biography. Home, Hal Home. The guy who dresses me on films wants my autobiography to be called Copying the Custard, and I think that is better, actually. Well, yeah, at home. I don't get it. That's why I don't understand why everyone wants to work from home. I cannot imagine anything more dreary or depressing.
But Q, are you currently married?
Yeah, I'm married to a terrifying giant Swede. We're going to launch a new podcast from Smartless Media called Telling It Like It Is.
Yeah. I could be huge. This is absolutely delightful and surprising. I don't tell you. Tell us a little bit.
About this cat you're married to.
This terrifying person is in your life.
Yeah. Well, actually, she's magnificent. Yeah, and as are the kids. We know you jest. Yeah, I should point that out. No, she's great. To my great surprise, while I was being pretty drunk for a few years in London, about 13 years ago, the bar I used to hang out at, there was this hot Swede, the other end of the bar, and it was her. She's an athlete. She was very nearly a pro tennis player, but just too angry. Anyway, we got closer and closer, and we started breathing, and now we're married. I love that. She's very much a man of the family. She comes from the northern part. I mean, Swedish men are different from and they come from the north, where everyone lives in the street. They're really seriously masculine. Men are not supposed to talk. You talk, it's a bit dirty. No, it's true. Our brothers, I've never heard them say a word. But yes and no, they suck their teeth. That's northern Swedish for yes or and no.
Oh, look at this. The food's coming for you.
Yeah, I got some coffee.
Nice.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, get that
Well,
in.
yeah, the Swedes do that. They do that when they're
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's correct. That's a yes.
I've spent some time in Stockholm over the years. I've been there a few times. I quite like Sweden. I always say it's like Canada with much better architecture, and the people are really great, but they're also very blunt in that way that I think a lot of the sort of the Nordic people can be. And I always find every time I went there, I'd go and I'd see people, relatives or friends, and they'd say, "Look at you, you're quite fat." And I'm like, well, it's great to see you too. My, you are tired. You are very tired. And I can tell by your face looks terrible.
That's absolutely correct. I don't allow my wife to go on any of the group chats with the schools because she offends everyone instantly with remarks exactly like that.
Wait, Hugh, did you ever, speaking of the character, how you just described your wife, did you find it difficult to give up control as a man? Like, before you met her, were you like more in control of people? Were you in control of more, and then when you met her, you're like, no, that's what the yourself. This is fine.
I think she's quite good. I just can't believe she likes me. I mean, you know, I'm a bit chatty compared to Judy's name, sure. And she catches me watching The Sound of Music in the afternoon. I don't know if we get along great. Yeah. I don't look at visual. She also has a long list of things that she says are unchattable. And they're really tough, like having tea instead of coffee, driving an electric car. Stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. I wish I could remember the other ones. They're good. So those are things that deem you ineligible for her pleasure. Yeah. Yeah. So you're a coffee man, full combustion. So all three children were adopted. That's the way it's going. And she was married before to a very butch tea captain structure or something. There was an ugly moment. When I went for a walk one day, we were filming the festival, I went for a walk on Worcester Mountain nearby. And I told my wife, sort of excited. It turns out that her ex-husband lived there. Now, I'm not very good in nature, and I did get distracted a bit of that day. I had this nightmare scenario that her ex-husband rescued me. Carried me down the mountain over his shoulder. That was a bit slow.
Rescue lives close to the boat.
They said, all this love. Yeah, well, that's and we will be right back. My home is your home. It's a retreat, right? It's your nest, right? And you want to be able to just lay out nest, for a long day. So, like my couch, like your couch, a home is so yours. Tiny feel modern trend brings new personal look home. Ashley offers well-crafted, affordable pieces that stand up to be a fight. With great look for the things for that. This is a stain-resistant clean something. They're quite durable, stain-resistant, with machine-washable cushion covers. Plus, Ashley provides fast, reliable, white-nail protection right to your door. I'm very familiar with the Pearson swivel chair. I sat in this chair at our show in Los Angeles, but we didn't come to laugh about it. I would sit there for another 3, 4, 5 hours, but then I just charged everybody 4 or 5 times the amount they spent on the 1-hour show. So it didn't make any sense. But the Jerson Low swivel chair made them the this is the local Christian store, or head of Christian Whole Foods Market is your go-to destination for flavors inspired by regions across the world.
tell you there's a compromise. An asterisk.
Terms apply. See store for details. You don't have to advertise.
Right, zero sugar is good. It's the lemon lime flavored refreshment you want with zero sugar.
So, no thanks,
No caveat, just refreshment. This is Sprite Zero Sugar. Obey your gut. Hugh, let's go way back. So, I think for a lot of people, certainly in this country and in Canada as well, sort of came to know you, I think, before Western International was the thing where we went everywhere. Guys, amazing. But truth be told, it wasn't your first film. You made quite a few films before.
Yeah. I had a career before filming, but it was a bit lame. Other than that, I specialized in really low quality movies. Like Judith Francis again. I was always, for some reason, as ministers, I was always champagne bound, people champagne. And I just hungered for those parts. And I, used to sell the family reserves to Mexican country Nazis. All squipped out of the house by Nazi war. Yeah, another alternate title for the biography. Getting away from my home. Oh my God. Yeah.
This is taking a turn for the better.
There was another one. With the last attempt for Charlie. I was sick. And, what do you mean? Well, I played him. It was partly sponsored by the Champagne Model Club. It was not a high point television. Okay. And I made the mistake of doing French accent. I didn't have great luck. I went up to French. I must listen to the Champagne. There is nothing in the bubble. How long have you been a professional actor? Starting in take job. Where I am, 40 years. Yeah. And it started before you were in the paycheck. You were learning. I'm guessing. Was there much training? Was there the bug bite? If it was not great training, no, you're fine. I never trained. It was a whole thing done. I had left university. I was heading off to do another degree in a different subject. But I didn't really want to do Stanford. Well, I was highly pretentious. I'd just done a literature. I was off to do a history of art. Anyway, as I was in the summer when that was about to happen, someone said, "Come and watch this amateur film that I played a small part in while the students at home." And I thought, well, showing back to the pretty difficult. And I went, nice film, I watched it, it was not a good film. I was not good. But, at that time, very forebode for actors to be quite utility top. It was the kind of challenge, right, everything. So agents said to me, would you like to do an actor? Yes, and I said, no. And I went back to prepare and then I suddenly thought, actually, I've got no money. So maybe I should do that for a bit. And then I got to so I rang back. I said, yeah, look, I'll do it. For a bit. And I got jobs, but I was so bad. I thought, I can't leave it at that. I'll do one more time better. And that has gone on for 40 years.
Isn't that interesting? Because you're English, like we all revere, and you just assume that you've had all this training as most.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, and there are so many. Of course, there are so many English actors who work over here as Englishmen or as Americans. But there is always that thing about having gone to drama school, Lana or whatever. And I wonder if growing up in that environment, now, of course, people here are lost, but growing up in a lot of your peers who are coming out of these schools, was there kind of was there a thing about that? Was that something that those people, I'm not asking you to speak over but was there a kind of a thing about that? Were they lorded that over?
With the ones who've been to drama school?
Yeah.
Well, when I did this acting, I was nervous. I thought they must know stuff I don't know. Not really big. But I did my very anticipating the rock back. With your arms spread. And I was in the theatre.
Orientation briefing begins every hour.
remember looking over at local kids who said, look, he's doing it again with the wanker.
There he goes again.
Yeah. In many ways. Anyway,
Do you remember what the big switch and change was when you went back to do it again and do it better and not quite as bad as they were? Do you remember what did you do anything on purpose to push you more towards a higher quality performance or something?
well, you were in the end, the script for Wedding from a Funeral came across my desk. My auditions, and they really didn't want me. The guy who wrote it, Richard Curtis, really didn't want me to do a little bit. But the man who directed it did. And that gives me hope. Although I must say, I never really felt that way. You get that feeling, don't you? I never felt that.
What do you mean?
I couldn't hear him. I could hear them. I couldn't hear him. But I couldn't anywhere I could pay. It helped after I finally met Richard Curtis, who is that guy. And so in some ways, doing an invitation to him.
Do you ever sit back and, I mean, we've all seen so much more. You use it for being proud of yourself and you know, I mean, you don't seem the type that like my wish for you is that you accept it. You know, that's all that's great work.
Right? It is nice to be. I've got that. That is it's fun. Again, I think it's fun. Too old time. It's weird and fun. It suited me better.
Now you're chilling from the door and really good.
And I have another really two good. One is I learned really much later. Thinking there's a whole other group behind the script is all about the price of that. And that's so meaning it was one thing, but the other thing was I was weird period.
Wait a second. Now you're speaking our language.
Yeah.
Jason,
Well,
if it's ever an opportunity to play with us,
you get that kind of just okay, I thought that you'll be playing you before
we need to port this.
So, talk a little bit about, you say, but, talk a bit about the how serious part of that, where, your looks still are incredible, but that was a large part of what we knew and loved about you was this incredibly handsome, dashing man providing a lead in all of these films. Which I'd like to still see you do, considering your incredible looks maintaining here. But, was that something you thought you would go, like some sort of, famously beautiful, like, have often mentioned, they went to Pearson's because they were so gorgeous. I mean, was that ever something that you thought, you take it seriously as an actor, but people are need to know what? That's a problem.
Well, I entirely lost faith I could do it. I believe it. But I see now maybe I was wrong, because at the very beginning, if I had any talent for doing strange things outlandishly with nothing like me, I had a comedy group which was quite successful, the London circuit, which was all characters, not silly characters.
What kind of year was what? Sorry,
That would be mid-80s. And it used to perform in pubs with people like yeah. And that was fun. And actually, just after I made Four Weddings, I shot another film, the same director, before Four Weddings was actually released, which was, nasty, very predatory, evil, twisted, played theatre director, and I was pretty good. And I just at least like that other track with rom-com. Not that I hate it, not that I hate it, but my business is much harder than people think, and in some cases much better than it's needed. My wife did it. She was watching Love Actually the other day. We love to watch romantic, so when I'm not getting they don't go bed. And she said, quite correctly, she said what's good about it is about pain. And so the good romantic comedies were really about pain, about human views of pain, right, you know, one stuff.
Do you feel that perhaps Rocky Ford, the massive success of the commercial efforts that you made, that you would have maybe had a better chance to be received as a sometimes a great director gets stuck too. They're incredibly sophisticated, but then they direct some through popcorn success and into that stuff.
Where they're shackled by financial success.
Yeah, exactly. Breathe, both big ones. Breathe, they and they play, those two played a huge job.
Well, but I'm strictly falsely modest, but I think would you have made different decisions earlier on to balance out output, like chosen some weird characters at the time?
Yes. Well, I still have confidence. And then another one called Restoration, which is another very specific film, Rob Down, which I was pretty good at it. And I should have at least said this.
Well, are you looking forward to now this stage of maybe like saying, well, check out what's been under this all this time, and here comes some more parts. Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's what I've been doing for the last 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It seems like you've kind of been on that track a little bit. Maybe just mixing it up.
I have.
Yeah, just I'm so late for the party, but the Undoing that was so great with Nicole Kidman, and I love that series. I'm kind of big series, so that was incredible. I love that series.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, not easy, but very well directed. That's very well. So she's on the Danish. You know that whole Scandi one. She made that one. Yeah, I mean, it was that was spoil ancient history to be that charming guy, the ideal husband, a cancer doctor, kid, loving for his child, loving his wife, and it turns out he's a savage.
It's funny. You have a very sort of, I'm going to say, kind of refreshing and very, sort of honest self-appraisal that you're doing, and maybe it's because, and I will say, I do share with you, as now that I'm working 50 years before, I spend a lot of time, I don't take as many things as seriously as I used to, and that's why it's still like that. My fear, I think, is very that you could have strong satire, wasn't the bad one, whatever it was, named one. But you even healthy, self-deprecating thing, and it's not even self-deprecating. I think it's obviously very funny, but it's also, I wonder if it's good for you as cathartic to just let it all go and that's a conscious decision. I quite like it.
Well, I feel reference about what they're doing. I do it the rest of the what do you do? The masturbation.
Yeah, I agree. Sure, I always yeah, thank you. No, I totally agree. I always thought that if you
exactly what you said. Like there's a lane to pick where you make great things that speak to your heart and that are true for you and that you want to make, and that's called art. Some form is all art. But if nobody's watching you make that art, like in the tree falls apart, like then what are you doing?
But that's not right. I think you
Okay.
if you don't have to try new stuff.
No, I know there's a balance.
It's about the problem. I think under the umbrella of art, the whole lot of attention to
Yeah,
those kinds of art.
that's
But also some absolutely jet artistry that actually genuinely gets me going. On the plane last night, I watched Zone Express, and you cannot get a more incredible film than Airplane has made the next film. And that clearly but
Sean and Scotty, you guys don't get used to it. It's not part of the episode. Well, I think Marvel's and Jennifer's there at the door. Sean is entrepreneur like sitting with kind of on the front lawn.
I like to call it in my mind. But yeah, we type it. But I think the goal that if you're making something that's so good and it does find an audience, like an advocate for it, that's what you'll win when you make
Well, it's illuminating. But it not only is a great art, it's illuminating and exposing people to art. Sometimes just as you say, making the medicine go down the lane and paint ultimate medicine because it is. But also getting into conversation about what is art and what is not. Very slowly spoken.
and I think what sometimes has got lost, or has got lost, it was possible to make big, successful box office films that were smart. I used to have a deal with the company that got right. Always said you could do one of them, the other very bright. You can make big, successful films that are intelligent, smart, groundbreaking, and you did it. Lots of them, and I think it's sad that got lost. That doesn't, or maybe it's the
listener, are you running? Well, I'm with you. And for me, that usually means that bar for sustained energy, fuel, that you can reach forward.
There's Lincoln Sector D. Maintenance says they'll get to it eventually.
Lift bar delivers fast out to it is baked. Tastes great. Made with organic whole milk, with 11 grams of protein. Lift bar is built for active lifestyles for people who challenge themselves. Raise your bar.
They always tell you there's a camp. And that's the risk.
Supplies, C-store for details, health stage, checklist,
Right, zero sugar is good. It's the lemon line flavor from fresh making with zero sugar.
so no fats forms.
No caveat. Just refreshing. This is Sprite Zero Sugar. Obey your thirst.
One of the hardest parts about B2B marketing is reaching the right audience. So when you want to reach the right professional, use LinkedIn. LinkedIn has grown to a network of over 1 million professionals. That's where it's for their buyers. You can target your buyers by job title, industry, company, role, seniority, skills, company revenue. LinkedIn will even give you an extra $250 credit on your next month, so you can try it yourself. Just go to linkedin.com/smartlist. LinkedIn.com/smartlist. Terms and conditions apply only on LinkedIn.
And now, for sure.
Now, what about junkets? Now, you like the older you get, for my sister tells you, the junkets are much before. And you said to them, there are two things. So a bunch of questions about the
Let's discuss that jumping case. Let's go down the steps and start that. And they say, okay, so today it's 30. I know you're listening at home. You're saying, hey, look, do I serve a ball all day? And it's like, it's
yeah, to that point, my question is that what we remember before, the older you get,
Yes, you do. I suppose. But you feel a bit of an arsehole if you do that.
yeah,
Because you come to love the filmmaker, don't you? You love your, you know, everyone's put themselves out there. And it's a terrifying moment when you're about to present something to the public and just walk away and say, I'm too grand to talk to
sure.
media is a bit wanky.
Yeah, for sure.
But what happens in a scenario where you've seen the film and you're like, oh boy,
I've been there.
together. This did not work. Yet you still have to go out and champion. Is that difficult?
Well, traditionally at that point I like to get arrested. Okay. Really? And then you're kind of out of the loop.
Very smart plan.
You're NA.
check out of bail, LA.
But this one, I imagine this one you're excited to talk about. You're in one of the really cool news. I love this news. It's not a new genre, but it's a tilt on the genre of horror films where they've really over the last 5 or 10 years become much more cinematic. Like these are really, really well-made films. They're beautiful and they're challenging. And I would imagine this is one of those. Did you have a great time doing it? Are you happy with the end product?
I am very happy with the end product. You're right. Well, part of the reason I did it was because it was A24, and it's not often in life you get something as surprising and uplifting as what they've done with just sheer balls and courage and good taste, creating film after film that's fresh and new and often utterly terrifying. I'm still getting over Midsummer.
Yeah.
And Bill, I wanted to see that. I haven't seen
Oh
that
my
yet.
God.
Well, it's kind of like what you say, what Rob Reiner said. Why can't
Exactly.
you have something that is artistically sound, but also so enjoyable and so satisfying and delivers so thoroughly that it makes a whole lot of money, sells a bunch of popcorn at the same time.
And that's the dream scenario. That's the bullseye.
Heretic has got that.
Well, it's definitely very smart. I mean, it's fascinating. I'm a character who makes a lot of quite long speeches in it about religion, and they were genuinely fascinating. These two weirdos who wrote and directed it, John Fryer, who also wrote, for instance, A Quiet Place. They're interesting guys. They did years of research to come up with the arguments I make in this film, and I think they are really quite startling and fascinating. So I enjoyed all that part. And it's filming. I am obsessed with films being filmy and not just like big format TV. So it's got incredible production design, incredible photography, and it's daring because traditionally, as you know, films tend to try and keep their dialogue quite pithy and short. This is very dialogue heavy, and
How are you learning your lines?
well, worse and worse. You know, the older I get, the more I drink. But I now start weeks and weeks early, and I go for walks every day, going through every single line over and over again, because I think I have a theory that they're like dance steps, and the more you repeat your dance steps, the more you can't forget them on the day, and then on the day you can have other thoughts, other feelings.
Yeah.
Do what actors are supposed to do.
It's in your skin, yeah.
It's in your skin, and I hate seeing, in my eyes, or any other actor's eyes, I think he's just looking for his next one.
Yeah.
You raise it
to report, sorry. Because if Jason has the opposite.
right, that's he's very good.
I don't understand it. Don't understand it.
It's not that great, but it's sort of a self-preservation thing. I find if I wish I could do what you do years ago, but I find if the more I do that, the more I sort of nail in a way I'm going to do that line, the more I talk about it and rehearse it, then I'm less flexible on the day
Yes.
to see what the other actor's doing and actually have to change a little bit.
Yes.
It's harder for me if I'm really nailed down.
You're right. I will. There's just a very big difference. It does nest. You're nesting your legs in rehearsal. You know, and that was brilliant. You don't want to nest, but at the same time, I've worked with actors, as I say, where they're just struggling.
Here's the thing about most AI.
This episode.
Claro, porque llegó el algoritmo, lo que fue, los alumnos de la pandemia, me eché a hablar de color, qué sé yo qué. Se escucha ¿qué hay? Para jugar, porque decimos lo llevan porque para la gente de menos, las historias se contaron tantas veces y de tantas maneras, como la historia de la guerra de Troya, la guerra por una mujer, héroes invencibles, dioses metiéndose donde nadie los llama, un caballo. El final de la historia y una ciudad que ardió, ¿sí?
Classic grape lollipop has the taste that takes you back.
My old room.
Y sean ustedes bienvenidos. El día de hoy vamos con un video de Arc Raiders. En este video hablaremos sobre los ítems que puedes borrar sin preocuparte, pero más que nada vamos a hablar también primero de los ítems que vas a querer conservar sí o sí. Voy a mostrar imágenes donde van a poder apreciar de manera clara cuáles son los objetos y la voy a para volver a ver. Como sabrán, vamos a tener que meter acá en entrenar para estar subiéndolo de nivel y que nos dé un poco más de objetos. Entonces aquí les voy a dejar en pantalla cuáles son los objetos que se van a necesitar para aumentarlo de nivel. Después de vamos a pasar a lo que viene siendo el armero. En el armero también es uno de los que son bastante convenientes de subir. Les voy a dejar aquí la captura de las cosas que se van a requerir para poder subir de nivel. Vamos a pasar a la área y ya estamos acercando a la parte final, uno de los más de nivel antes que los demás, porque de hecho o que tengas pensado hacerlo más adelante. Yo, por ejemplo, aún no he llegado a nivel 20, pero definitivamente voy a comenzar a guardar los materiales que se requieren para tenerlos. Ahora vamos a aún no he llegado a nivel 20, pero definitivamente que tengas pensado hacerlo más adelante. Yo, por ejemplo, aún no he llegado a nivel 20, pero he llegado a la área que es la de proyectos. Les voy a dejar aquí el screenshot de qué objetos son los que tenemos que conservar, suponiendo que ya quieras empezar lo de la expedición o que tengas pensado hacerlo más adelante. Yo, por ejemplo, aún no he llegado a nivel 20, pero definitivamente voy a comenzar a guardar los materiales que se requieren para tenerlos. Ahora vamos a mostrar lo que vienen siendo los objetos para las misiones. Los dejo aquí en pantalla. Y finalmente llegamos a la parte de objetos que puedes vender con más tranquilidad. Objetos que no van a ser tan necesarios, se los dejo aquí en pantalla. Voy a tratar de subirles el video en la calidad más alta. Posible para que le salga la captura de pantalla de buena calidad. Y aquí va a estar la siguiente parte. Pantalla de buena calidad con más tranquilidad. Objetos que no van a ser tan necesarios, se los dejo aquí en pantalla. Voy a tratar de subirles el video en la calidad más alta posible para que les salga la captura de pantalla de buena calidad. Y aquí va a estar la siguiente parte de buena calidad. Y aquí va a estar la siguiente parte. Con esto llegamos al final del video. Espero que les sea bastante útil. Dejen en los comentarios. Bastante útil. Dejen en los 20. Pero de qué objetos son los que tenemos que conservar, suponiendo que ya quieras empezar lo de la expedición o que tengas pensado hacerlo más adelante. Yo, por ejemplo, aún no he llegado a nivel 20, pero definitivamente voy a comenzar a guardar los materiales que se requieren para tenerlos. Ahora vamos a mostrar lo que ven, casi de tratar de subir de nivel antes que los demás. La parte final, uno de los más útiles va a ser la refinación.
Es súper conocida esta historia, seguramente alguna vez la has escuchado. Ahora, la pregunta es, ¿conocieron la historia completa detrás de la guerra de Troya? Bueno, ahí es donde quiero apuntar con este episodio, ¿no? La historia completa, como siempre, con detalles, con todo lo que cada episodio hace especial a Historia en Podcast. Y si todavía no lo siguen, los espero en Instagram, que nos ayuda mucho a crecer, a seguir creciendo, ¿no? Como hace 5 años que venimos con este podcast, que la vida rompiendo. Así que dejo esa invitación y antes de iniciar, déjenme contarles una cosa. Esta historia de Troya, para mí, es uno de los primeros chamullos de la historia de la humanidad. También un chamullo como una mentira, como una viveza, ¿no? Para sacar ventaja de algo o de algo. No digo que la guerra de Troya haya sido una mentira, de hecho, como ya veremos, está comprobado arqueológicamente, pero digo que la trama de este conflicto invita a pensar a que los engaños fueron parte determinante de la historia. ¿Sí? Y ahí vamos a estar echando un poquito y de paso dejo la invitación para nuestra obra que se llama Chamullo, que hicieron historia, que empieza justamente con este chamullo de la guerra de Troya, mezclando con otra forma de aprender historia en teatro, muy personal. ¿No? Y este 21 de agosto de 2025 lo vamos a estar presentando en General Alvear, en Santa Fe, a las 18:30 horas, y el 31 de agosto la vamos a estar presentando en Ciudad Autónoma de Buenos Aires, ¿sí? Ahí en el Centro Cultural Morán, a las 20:30 horas, con entradas agotadas. Y como se agotaron esas entradas, abrimos una nueva función que será en el Teatro de la en Ciudad Autónoma de Buenos Aires, en la calle Honduras 5317, domingo 14 de septiembre. Domingo 14 de septiembre, nueva función por localidades agotadas de chamullo que hicieron la historia. Me pone súper feliz todo esto, así que ojalá podamos encontrarnos ahí, hablar un poquito de historia y disfrutar. Así que si quieren vivir una velada hermosa con historia, con humor, con música también, me van a ver ahí haciendo un poquito de música con piano, con acordeón, con invitados. Bueno, todo eso lo van a encontrar en chamullo que hicieron en Historia. Y las entradas la consiguen por nuestra web, acá abajo del episodio, en la cajita donde está el link a nuestra web, y ahí consiguen las entradas. Y si quieren que llevemos esta obra a su ciudad, nos dejan un comentario en el episodio para que empecemos a realizar las gestiones. Ahora, volviendo a Troya, mejor dicho, a la historia de Troya. Lo primero sería contar cómo nos llega a nosotros esta historia. ¿Cómo nos llega? ¿No? Primero, antes que nada, debemos mencionar obligadamente a Homero, a la Ilíada y a la Odisea, ¿no? Captadas de memoria durante siglos, obras que recién mucho después se van a fijar por escrito, y entra acá algo muy importante que la mayoría pasa por alto, que es la famosa cuestión homérica. Porque es muy probable que Homero no haya sido una sola persona que escribió alguna vez la historia. Es muy probable que no estoy diciendo que no puede, probable. Que en realidad ha sido un nombre colectivo que resume el trabajo de varios poetas a lo largo de generaciones, ¿no? Obras nacidas de la tradición oral que se fueron moldeando con cada recitado a quien pusiera la primera letra en un pergamino, ¿no? Pero bueno, no me voy a meter a la cuestión homérica, que es ya un debate fuerte dentro de la clásica. Esta es Troya, y Troya nos llega, antes que nada, por obras como las ¿no? Como la Ilíada, como la Odisea, relatada a Homero, que puede haber sido uno o pueden haber sido muchos. En fin, al ser el primer relato en llegar, hizo lo que reza el refrán, ¿no? Que pega primero, pega después, y después durante años. Y eso generó una pregunta. Y me corría los años, ella corría el tiempo. Sola, ella, se relata de la Odisea y de la Ilíada. ¿Qué sucedió en un una parte de un relato político? Para eso, vamos a recorrer esa historia desde el comienzo, desde el origen del conflicto, del momento segundo, el mito aparentemente le ganó la historia tremendo. Quiere decir que al final, porque este episodio está
This is Apollo. The cultural archives in Stella Montis are pretty well guarded, so don't forget to hum a suspenseful tune while you search for those movies.
Tarde, si yo te dice que firmar tu propia donación,